Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ebola. I've been meaning to talk about this for the last few days. If you're following the news, it's hard to avoid hearing about Ebola this and Ebola epidemic, and this guy's got Ebola, and they got SWAT teams keeping people in their houses, and all the talking heads are spewing out craziness about Ebola. I keep hearing complaints about how the government is, how they're handling Ebola, how the government is handling Ebola, how the president is handling Ebola, the president/king. Whenever I hear somebody talking about the president, I always think of the king, whatever you want to call him, the president king, how he's handling Ebola. Some judge lady on Fox says that the government is supposed to protect us from Ebola. MSNBC had an interview. I saw it on MSNBC.com this morning. They had an interview with Senator Pryor from Arkansas, and they're trying to stump him, ask him, is he happy about how the president is handling the Ebola crisis? What is going on here? The president handles the Ebola crisis? The government handles the Ebola crisis? We don't need a government or a president or any other authority figure, so-called, to protect us from viruses. This is more infantilizing idiocy from a daddy government and a lapdog lay media press that treats us like we're children, like treats us like we're infants. Listen, we got an immune system, and our government has nothing to do with it. Our government has nothing to do with our immune system. Our immune system is our divine birthright. It's our God-given protection from viruses, from pathogens, from bacteria. And what we need to be doing is supporting our immune system. What we need to be doing, or not doing, is eating the corporate-sponsored crap, the corporate swill, the corporate KFC garbage. And also, at the same time, what we need to be doing is building our immune system by drinking good, clean water, thinking healthy thoughts and emotions, and making sure we're getting our mighty 90 essential nutrients, in addition to eating right. Making sure we're on the healthy start pack, making sure we're getting enough protein. You know what? Our immune system is built up of protein. How many of us are getting enough protein? How many of us are absorbing our protein correctly? What we need to be focusing on is our digestive system, not worrying about whether the government is protecting us. What we need to be focusing on is making sure we're getting our micronutrients, our zinc, and our vitamin C. How interesting is it that your dog or your cat doesn't get Ebola? You ever think of that? Your pets don't get Ebola. Most animals don't get Ebola. Why would that be, that animals don't suffer from Ebola, with the exception of primates and bats, fruit-eating bats? What is it about primates, gorillas, human beings, bats, fruit-eating bats, that makes them susceptible to Ebola? But other animals, your dogs or your cats, they don't get Ebola. Why is it that only monkeys and primates and human beings and a rare species of bat gets Ebola? Well, let's see. What is it that makes these primates and these rare bats different from all the other animals that get Ebola? Oh, yeah, all the other animals make their own vitamin C. We don't, and primates don't. And the unusual fruit-eating bat doesn't make its own vitamin C. How coincidental is it that the animals that don't make vitamin C suffer from Ebola, and the animals that do make vitamin C don't get Ebola? Now, I'm not sitting here saying vitamin C is some kind of cure-all for Ebola, or that it's a antidote for an Ebola infection, but I'm saying that it's probably a good idea to use some vitamin C, to get on some micronutrients that boost the immune system, to support the body's defensive capabilities against all manners of assault, to build our immune system, to not eat the crap, the government-sponsored crap, by the way, same government that's wringing its hands about Ebola. Stop eating the crapola, and you won't get the Ebola. Get yourself on a micronutrient program, a micronutrient supplement program like Dr. Wallach designed. Get yourself on the Healthy Start Pack, and you won't have to worry about viruses. And that includes shingles, by the way, and that includes the flu virus. That includes all viruses. It includes all attacks on the immune system or attacks on the body. Hepatitis, flu, shingles, herpes, Ebola, whatever. Ebola, by the way, is a very weak virus. There's a reason why Ebola started in a third world, primitive, remote jungle-type environment, i.e. the jungle villages of West Africa. Ebola can only thrive under conditions of really poor health care and really poor hygiene. Ebola is passed basically through body fluids. You have to contact blood or urine or some other fluid. You have to come into close contact with a dead body or with some Ebola sufferer. It's not contagious in the sense that you're going to breathe in Ebola. Yes, Ebola can live outside the body on doorknobs and handles for a few hours, which is obviously not a good thing, but that's not a reason to freak out. or to let so-called authorities deprive us of our basic rights, or to poke and prod into our bodies at will. We've got to keep things in perspective here. Ebola does give us a reason to maintain normal hygienic standards, to be clean. And it's a reason this Ebola crisis, this Ebola so-called epidemic, is a reason that every human being around the world, whether they're in Africa or Asia or the United States or anywhere else, needs to have their basic health care needs met. We're all on this planet together as one homogeneous mass called humanity, and everything that affects somebody in Africa is going to ultimately affect us here. But there's lots of ways that we can take care of ourselves without government intervention when it comes to protecting us from Ebola or anything else. Okay, we're talking about Ebola a little bit. There's a poll, reading on this on thehill.com. Poll, majority believe U.S. government can stop major Ebola outbreak. The government is going to stop the Ebola outbreak. No, the government's not going to stop the Ebola outbreak. The government has should have nothing to do with our health. How did the government get involved with our health? What is it the government's role to take care of our health? Why is it the government's role to build our immune system? What is this, the government? Government needs to mind its own business. I don't even know what the government's supposed to do. We're supposed to behave ourselves, and we won't even need a government. We need a divine government, a holy government, a sacred government, not an Obama government, a president government. Get yourself on vitamin C for one. Everybody needs to be using a gram of vitamin C a day at least. Don't pay any attention to any nonsense about somebody saying that people telling you that ascorbic acid is not vitamin C. Just Google it. Do your own research. Google ascorbic acid, or go to scholar.google and Google ascorbic acid antiviral, ascorbic acid immune system, ascorbic acid fights cancer. Get on zinc also. We've been talking about zinc now. Zinc is the most powerful immune-boosting mineral there is, most powerful immune-boosting antiviral nutrient there is. Certainly selenium is also very important, but nothing beats zinc. We've been talking about zinc the last few Brightside episodes for skin health. We've been talking about it for acne, for psoriasis. Zinc is important for helping support prostaglandins. Zinc is important for healing the skin if you've got acne lesions, acne blemishes. As far as acne blemishes go, zinc has to be considered, along with vitamin A, as the most important nutrient for keeping your skin zit-free. Zinc works on eliminating acne by several mechanisms. It's a major player in the healthy metabolism of testosterone, male hormone testosterone, which is a big problem when it comes to acne. Testosterone, or its breakdown product, which is known as DHT, is really one of the most important culprits when it comes to the formation of blemishes. Testosterone gets broken down into DHT, and DHT is not only the culprit in when it comes to blemishes, when it comes to acne, but it's also a major culprit when it comes to male prostate disease, and also male pattern baldness. Using zinc can help stabilize testosterone breakdown. It can help men and women maintain healthy testosterone levels. And that'll improve acne, that'll improve baldness, and for men that will improve prostate issues as well. Zinc supplementation can be helpful for sexual problems, for libido issues, for erectile dysfunction. Remember now, zinc is one of the more prominent nutritional deficiencies is zinc deficiency. So, if you got erectile dysfunction, you're a guy having libido issues or erectile dysfunction issues or prostate issues, guess what, guys? There's a good chance you're deficient in zinc unless you're supplementing with it. In fact, unless you're supplementing with zinc, you can pretty much rest assured you're deficient in it. Zinc deficiency is one of the most common mineral deficiencies in the world, largely because of zinc depletion of soils. This idea of soil depletion is a very, very important problem. Dr. Wallach's been talking about it for decades, and he's absolutely right on. Soil depletion is a big problem for all minerals, especially zinc. Zinc isn't really very soluble. It's difficult to find in the soil anyway. And with the over-farming techniques and topsoil depletion, zinc deficiency is incredibly significant and incredibly common. If you're an athlete, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a weightlifter, if you're a weekend warrior, zinc supplementation is really important. Zinc is important if you're dealing with post-surgical issues. If you're post-surgery, zinc can dramatically accelerate the healing process. Zinc is important for folks who are suffering from osteoporosis, just as important as calcium. If your doctor told you, oh, you got to take a calcium supplement, but he didn't tell you about zinc, for your osteoporosis, well, he's a boneheaded, no pun intended, medical professional, because zinc is just as important as calcium for building strong bones. It's hard to think of a more multifunctional mineral than zinc, with the possible exception of magnesium and calcium. And this makes zinc deficiencies both good news and bad news. Why? Well, bad news in the sense that zinc deficiencies' ubiquitous nature, the fact that so many people are deficient in zinc. The bad news is that zinc deficiency is probably involved in almost every single health challenge you can name. But the good news is simply by getting on 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day, you can get a heck of a lot of health benefits. Remember, one of the great gifts of the human body is the more deficient in nutrients we are, the faster we absorb those nutrients. The sicker we are, the faster we turn it around. The more weight we need to lose, the faster we lose the weight. So get yourself on a good zinc supplement. Zinc picolinate is probably the most cost-effective and the best. That's picolinate, spelled P as in Paul, I as in igloo, C as in cat, O as in Oscar, L as in Larry, I as in igloo, N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, E as in Edward. Picolinate. Zinc picolinate, 50 milligrams a day. There's also other good forms of it, but that's the best form. That's probably the best form, at least the most cost-effective form. It costs you about $5 for a bottle of 90 capsules. It's ridiculously cheap. Zinc is typically found in high-protein foods, it's associated with high-protein foods. Remember, zinc is very important for building things. Vegans are going to have a little bit of a difficult time getting enough zinc from food. They're going to pretty much be restricted to eating a lot of beans or whole grains or nuts, which, of course, come with their own set of problems. By far and away, the best dietary sources of zinc are organ meats, liver, or also eggs, dairy has some zinc in it, too. Zinc is a building element, so in order to access it, if you want to access zinc, you're going to upregulate, or you're going to improve all your building systems, especially muscle building and bone building. Also very important for brain health. Zinc's a little difficult to extract out of foods. If you're really going to get, especially out of plant foods, if you're really going to take advantage of zinc, make sure you're using your ultimate enzymes. Make sure you're using apple cider vinegar. Your stomach needs to be producing enough stomach acid to be absorbing zinc. In order to really exploit or leverage or be able to extract zinc out of foods, your digestive system has to be firing on all cylinders. Digestive acids are especially important. So is pancreatic juices. Bile is important for zinc absorption. The intestines have to be healthy. And you also got to have enough copper, too. If you're taking zinc supplements, you may end up deficient in copper. And likewise, if you're taking copper supplements, you may end up deficient in zinc. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll finish up when we come back from the break and take your phone calls as well. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back after this. Let's see, if you're on CNN, if you want to take a look at CNN Health, there's an article, Ebola drugs are in the works. Surprise, surprise. Quote, scientists racing to develop something that will stop the largest Ebola epidemic in history are trying a variety of experimental drugs on patients, unquote. Please, guess what, you guys? You're going to now start to see Ebola drugs. You're going to see Ebola vaccines. It's a lot of money in Ebola, apparently, and drug companies are hustling to try and tap into the Ebola market. But we don't need drugs. We don't need vaccines. You don't need vaccines for any so-called viral epidemic, whether it's hepatitis or flu or anything else, shingles. What we need to do is make sure we're boosting, strengthening, stabilizing our immune system by eating correctly and making sure we get in correct nutrition, especially the Healthy Start Pack, the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. If anybody is is interested in getting a vaccine for Ebola or for the flu or hepatitis or anything else before they get on the Healthy Start Pack, they really need to be doing a little bit of research. We don't need drugs. We need nutrition, in addition to mental health and emotional health strategies and spiritual strategies as well. That's what I call the bright side philosophy, the simplicity of health. That's what it's really all about, you guys, the simplicity of health. If we are sick in any fashion, whether it's something as dramatic as cancer or as mild as acne or an ingrown toenail, there are strategies that are at our disposal that have nothing to do with the medical model, which needs to restrict itself to emergencies and heroic medicine only, which it does which it does fine with. Heroic medicine, that's the role for medicine, to patch us up if we get broken, but not to repair degenerative disease or protect us from to protect us in any way from things that the immune system is supposed to protect us from, the God-given and divine immune system that we all have at our disposal via birthright. Okay. Got so much to say about zinc. I absolutely love this mineral, my all-time favorite mineral. Zinc deficiencies are very common if you're dealing with any kind of post-surgical issues, immune issues, skin issues, liver health issues. That's another important role for zinc. Zinc is stored in large quantities in the liver. It's a key player, a major player in many detoxification reactions. Sherry Rogers has talked about this extensively, about the importance of zinc for detoxification in her books. If you haven't read Tired or Toxic, and you have any kind of immune issue or chemical sensitivity issue, it's a must-have book. It's a must-read book, Tired or Toxic. It's a little bit technical, and it's somewhat hard to find. She does have a few other books. Detoxify or Die, I think, is one of them. They're a little easier to read, and they're more readily available. But Tired or Toxic, which came out in the 90s, is an absolute classic when it comes to detoxification strategies and explaining, albeit a little bit technically, how the detox system works. Dr. Rogers talks a lot about using zinc for detoxification, and she's right on, in my humble opinion. So get yourself on 50 milligrams a day of zinc as a supplement. It's ridiculously cheap. Use zinc-containing foods, including high-protein foods, meats, liver, organ meats, especially, are good sources of zinc. Dairy, eggs, as I said. And then also, if you're a vegetarian, you can use beans or grains or nuts to obtain your zinc, although the zinc that's found in those kinds of foods is a little bit harder to access than zinc that's found in high-protein in meats and dairy and eggs as well. Okay, it's lots more that I want to say about zinc, and then I also want to talk a little bit about zinc deficiency or zinc depletion of the soils. We'll do that tomorrow on the bright side. Time to hit our phones. 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's go to New York and welcome Linda to the bright side. What's up, Linda? How you doing? Do we have Linda? Linda. Going once.
Hello.
Hey, Linda.
Yes.
What's up? How you
Hi.
doing? Where are you? Where are you calling
Good.
from in New York?
Buffalo region.
Buffalo?
Down near the Buffalo Lake Erie is.
Oh, nice. Is it winter time there yet?
Yeah.
You got winter time yet in Buffalo, or is it?
My time is almost 11:45.
No. I say, is it winter time, or you got some snow yet?
Oh, the winter time, yeah. Well, God willing, we'll have a mild one this year.
Okay.
That's what I'm praying for.
All right. So no snow yet. No snow yet. Sometimes
No
it gets
snow
September.
yet.
All right. So what's going on? How can we help you, Linda?
Almost 6 weeks ago, I had surgery. They found endometrial cancer.
Okay.
And we also found a colon, a tumor in the colon. And that came out fine. They resectioned it. And I was put back together. And now they want to do chemotherapy like this week. I decided I was going to go nutritionally to see, give that to see what I can do with that.
Did they say they got all the cancer? They say they got everything out of your body, or did it metastasize at all, or what's the deal?
They said they got all of it except there was one spot that was left on a vein, and they couldn't take it off because the plaque was on the vein, and they couldn't get it off. The vascular said no. So,
do you know what drug they want to give you?
they want
I'm sorry, Linda, you're cutting out. You're cutting out. Say that again. Do you know what the chemo is they want to give you?
what's the name of it?
What's the drug that they want to give you?
Yeah, carboplatin chemotherapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have some questions about you have.
With tax.
I'm having Linda, I'm having a very hard time hearing you. Are you on a speakerphone? Because you're cutting out, and I'm only hearing half.
I'll go on.
Okay, I'm gonna.
How's that?
Okay,
Can you hear me better?
Much better. Let's say what you were saying now.
Okay. They want to put me on carboplatin.
Okay.
And Taxol.
Okay.
And do it for 18 weeks, 6 times every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So anyway.
You want some nutritional strategies for dealing with your cancer, non-platinum and non-Taxol drugs, or non-Taxol strategies for dealing with cancer?
Yeah, I decided I was going to go with Dr. Wallach's nutrients and stuff that
Okay.
he's got available.
Okay.
But my concern was because I was still like on the fence with the chemo, and I didn't know if I could take both of them at the same time.
Heck yes. You should take both of them at the same time. Now, your doctors, I know sometimes doctors are funny about nutritional supplements, and they have a tendency to take people off all their nutritional supplements. But no, in my opinion, the nutritional supplements will help the chemo work better, and they'll reduce the toxicity associated with the chemo. I think it's crazy not to use nutritional. Here's the take. Here's the medical take. The nutritional supplements will keep the chemo from working as effectively as it should because chemo kills things, and nutritional supplements make things grow and make things and support things. So doctors will say, oh, well, we want to kill things here. We don't want you healthy. We want the stuff dead. And this really is the problem with chemo. See, when we have cancer, it's not like there's an invader from outer space that came into our body and gave us cancer. Our cancer cells are our cells. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tumor cells, cancer cells, they're our cells. They're not foreign cells. They're your cells. They're your endometrial cells. They're your bone cells. They're your skin cells. They're your lung cells, whatever. They're your colon cells. It's just that they've gone rogue. But you're still killing yourself. It's like having a child. You know, just like your cells are yours, your child is yours. If your child's bad, do you kill your child? No. You figure out what's wrong with your child, and you nurture and sustain your child, and make your child healthy again. Hang on. I'll finish up when we come back from our break. Don't go away, Linda. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 855-660-4261 is our number. And we'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side talking to Linda in Buffalo, New York. Linda, you there, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so here's the deal. A couple things. First of all, cancer is you. Cancer is us. So when we kill our cancer cells with chemotherapy, we're killing ourselves. If you have a kid and it's a rogue kid going crazy, you know, you nurture the kid, you sustain the kid, you get the kid healthy, and that's how I look at dealing with cancer. But by the time you have cancer, depending on how far it's spread, we're in desperate sorts, and sometimes chemotherapy or surgery, it may be something that you need to do. That having been said, there's lots of nutritional strategies that you may want to explore. First of all, before I even forget...
I can tell you what I bought.
Well, hang on. Before you get into that,
Okay.
let me give you a couple things. I don't know if you ever heard of a magazine called The Townsend Letter. It's a wonderful magazine. It's written a little bit for professionals, but it's not that difficult to read. And September's issue of The Townsend Letter, and that's spelled TOWNSEND, I believe. Townsend Letter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Maybe END or AND. Townsend Letter. They have their whole September 2014 issue is dedicated to cancer. And there's lots of good information about alternative therapies for dealing with cancer and nutritional strategies for dealing with cancer. The Townsend Letter, you'll have to get the September issue online. Go to townsendletter.com, TOWNSEND, townsendletter.com. And then there's a especially good article on intravenous vitamin C and cancer. I also have collected a few articles on intravenous vitamin C and cancer. If you're interested, send an email to ben@ksco.com and I'll forward these articles to you. There's a nice article in this magazine, by the way, in the, I don't know if it was in this issue, but there's an article on copper chelation in cancer. And you may want to look into chelation therapy. That's another thing that you might want to do. And then last, in addition to IV vitamin C, you may want to consider IV glutathione and IV nutrients in general. There's a special blend of nutrients called a Myers cocktail, and that's MEYERS, Myers cocktail, which is a blend of nutrition that can be used to deal with cancer as well. So those are just some things I want to tell you before you get into what you're doing now. Why don't you real quickly tell me what you're up to, what you're doing right now to deal with the cancer? What supplements are you using?
Well, I decided to purchase Immortalium.
I'm sorry, say again, ma'am?
They're Wallach.
Linda, I'm having a really hard time understanding you. So I don't know how, if you can just talk a little bit more clearly, because I want to understand everything you're saying. But I just
okay. The Immortalium from Dr. Wallach.
Yes. Okay, what else?
Cell Shield.
Okay.
The Z-Radical and a Healthy Brain and Heart Pack.
Okay, good.
With an extra bottle of selenium.
Okay, good. You're on the right track. I don't know, the Immortalium isn't necessarily going to help you with cancer. but the selenium certainly will, and then also the Healthy Start Pack. That's going to give you the Brain and Body Pack. That's going to give you the basics. Those are called the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients. They're the basics, and everybody needs them. And Linda, I want you to listen to this. I want everybody else to listen to this. You don't take nutrients because you want to heal yourself from some disease. That's not the purpose of the Healthy Start Pack or any other nutrition. The purpose of the Healthy Start Pack and nutrients is to get you healthy. Not to kill your cancer or to heal your bones, but to get you healthy. The body will take care of all the diseases and of building things and of fighting things. The body does that on its own. What we need to do is give the body the raw materials it needs to do its work. So you don't want to focus on nutrients simply because you have cancer or because you have osteoporosis or because you have acne, but you want to focus on the nutrients to get healthy. It's like giving your car gasoline. You don't give your car gasoline because you want to take a trip somewhere. You give your car gasoline because you can't run a car without gasoline. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't want to look at this as trying to fight a disease. You want to look at it as making your body healthy so your body can do all the work it needs to do, including fighting cancer and fighting diseases. So I'm very careful about recommending nutrients for specific diseases as much as I recommend nutrients to get healthy, to get strong, to enable us to leverage or exploit our God-given right to be fully functional human beings. That's the purpose of nutrition. Now, that having been said, you already got cancer. You may want to take some extra measures in addition to the Healthy Start Pack, and that's why I was telling you about the IV nutrients, IV vitamin C.
I was just wondering if you could take it with chemo.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
And, excuse me, and then they put me on an aspirin of 325 mgs because they had to disconnect a artery and put that back together.
Well, I don't know what the aspirin's a blood thinner. It's going to keep your blood from clotting, maybe they're thinking. You know, after surgery, the blood has a tendency to clot. It's like your body freaks out and your blood freaks out. And so after surgery, your blood will clot, and they'll put you on a blood thinner for that reason. And they're probably thinking the aspirin is a blood thinner. I'm guessing that's why they put you on the aspirin.
But she's thinking maybe 6 months.
Well, yeah.
To stay on it. I thought it was kind of crazy.
No, they'll keep you on aspirin for life as a blood thinner. Sometimes if people have a history.
Well, that's a lot, though, 325.
That's not, there's worse. It's a lot better than warfarin, that's for sure, or Coumadin. Not that it's great, but you want a natural blood thinner? Vitamin E is one of the best natural blood thinners there is.
That's what I asked. She said come back in 6 months.
Omega-3s are also good blood thinners. And you know what else? Here's the deal, Linda. We're talking nutrients, but let me tell you something. The best health, in addition to nutrients, the best health strategies are going to be deep breathing, making sure you're oxygenating, and relaxing. You know, you have two nervous systems. I said this so many times before, but you know what? I haven't said it in a while, so I'm just going to tell you again. You got two nervous systems, okay? You got one nervous system that runs stress and survival needs, or is responsible for helping the body in stress and survival situations. And then you got another nervous system that helps heal your body, that's responsible for relaxation, that's responsible for making your brain grow and your immune system strong, and making tissue repair, and fighting cancer for that matter. That's called your relaxation nervous system. For the scientists out there, we call it the sympathetic nervous system, that's stress, and the parasympathetic nervous system, that's relaxation. If you're dealing with cancer, if you're dealing with any kind of immune system problem, you've got to access the relaxation nervous system, because the stress nervous system shuts down the immune system. Do you hear that, Linda? This is so important. Yes. The survival nervous system. Hang on, let me finish. Linda, let me finish. Let me finish, please, okay? The survival nervous system, the stress nervous system, will shut down immunity. It will keep you from being able to fight cancer. So get in a hot tub, take a bath, get in a hot shower, sit and deep breathe, get massages. You know, we're conditioned to believe that all of these strategies are indulgent and lazy, and relaxing is somehow something that we shouldn't be doing too much of, because it's a sign of sloth and laziness. It's not. Hot tubs are how we relax. Baths are how we relax. And when we relax, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which activates healing. That's why I'm always saying, don't let anybody take you into fear. Ever. If somebody's on the radio or on TV or you're reading something and it sparks a fear response, that's going to shut down your ability to heal and relax and grow and survive and deal with stress, really. So we need to figure out.
I have some fear about the chemo.
Well, it's understandable, but it's not helping you. So figure out how to access the relaxation response. And one of the major gifts of nutritional supplementation is it tells the body that its survival is not being threatened. So nutritional supplements actually will activate the parasympathetic, the relaxation nervous system. Good eating will activate the relaxation nervous system. Sugar, on the other hand, processed food, Kentucky Fried Chicken, crappy fast food corporate swill, those will turn on the sympathetic nervous system. Those will suppress healing. Those will suppress the parasympathetic relaxation nervous system. Here's a little clue for you. If something makes you go, that's the relaxation nervous system. If something makes you go,
right,
oh, that's the survival nervous system. So that sound that we all make when you step into a hot bath? That sound. That is your clue, your indicator that you've now accessed the relaxation nervous system and healing can ensue. And the healing process can begin. So this is not, I'm not being airy-fairy here. I'm being hardcore healing. We got to figure out how to activate the relaxation nervous system, and nutritional supplementation is key. Go ahead real quick, Linda, because I'll let you finish up here.
The cell shield and the Z radical, do you think those would be...
Z radical is awesome. The cell shield a little bit less awesome, in my opinion. The Z radical is unbelievable, except fucoidan Z is a little bit better. In fact, for all cancer, all immune issues, all blood issues, all obesity or diabetic or blood sugar issues, fucoidan Z is almost like a miracle. And I'm not just telling you this just because I've seen it over and over again. It's in the literature. It's in the research. Google fucoidan, Fucoidan, which is the active ingredient in the Z radical, and cancer, and you'll just get hit after hit after hit, article after article after article. It's crazy powerful stuff, the fucoidan Z. And I don't know of any... okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think I could skip the chemo then if I
can't tell you that. You know what, Linda? I can't tell you that. I don't know enough about your case. But I can tell you the nutrients are going to help the chemo work better, in my opinion.
Okay,
God bless you. You know what? I'm going to send you... if you send me your email with your phone number, I'll call you, and you and I can talk when we have... we can spend a little bit more time. Okay? Thanks for calling, Linda. Okay. God bless. I hope everything works out for you. Sorry if we left you on hold, but I'm always telling you guys, you got to call in earlier. And then it's much easier for me to get to calls when you call in earlier. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about zinc, and we'll talk about zinc depletion of the soils, and we'll also talk about zinc and prostaglandins. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.